Award. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come to you with humble hearts tonight, and we ask you to give us wisdom as we make decisions that will affect our community. We ask you to bless and protect our employees, police officers, first responders, and our citizens. Father, we thank you for the members of the military, both past and present, and ask that you keep them safe. And we pray that we will always be aware of your guidance in everything we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, well, I'm not really sure where Miss McKinney is. I didn't get any messages. But, she's absent, so. We'd like to go to, oh, he may show up. Minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. What has it been?
Oh, I, what, was that what you're doing?
Minutes?
Yeah, minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we make a motion to leave him go?
We're
No.
gonna wait.
Wait a few minutes till he.
Second.
For the minutes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Abstain.
Richards,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Schott.
Bills.
Motion for the bills?
Second. Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Schott.
Yes.
Hourly workers' time. Fireman's time.
I don't see one. Is there one?
Yeah.
Fireman's time, yeah, I got an extra one.
Oh, I do have one somewhere.
Motion.
Second. Okay, Jay. Thank you, Joe. I must have it in this one.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Schott.
Yes.
Okay, clerk and treasurer.
First order of business, received a phone call from Brewster Mayor in regards to trick or treat. They're going to hold their trick or treat for the children. Everything else in their community's been canceled but trick or treat. On the 31st, which is a Saturday, October 31st, and I believe it was from 6 to 7 or 6 to 7:30.
I like to have, go from 6 to 8,
Why so long?
the trick or treat. By the time you get everything done and get them out of here, an hour and a half ain't much time.
You said, they said 67:30.
I think, I'm not positive. The bottom line, that's the date.
I'm always out of candy bites.
What's the light off?
Okay.
What's the rest of you think? We got to vote on it, whatever we decided.
We decided on. I have no problem.
I'll make a motion to have it from 6 to 8.
I have no problem with that, so,
Are you seconding it?
yeah.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yeah.
and Schott.
Yes.
That's the 31st, 6 to 8, right?
Yeah, I'll be on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Saturday. Thank you.
We received a letter from a company called Thanksgiving Baskets Downtown. It's a group that works with the Chamber of Commerce, who we're a member of, the Canton Chamber of Commerce, for Thanksgiving. And also we received the donation letter from the Fearless Toy Donation Group and reminder of the Fearless Food Cupboard for the holidays. What would you like to do, if anything, at this time?
Did we give to the toy thing before?
And we usually give it to the food cupboard, and then they decide if they need it, and they share it, or they use it all for the food.
$50 for the food cupboard. Isn't that what we get for?
500.
500, I'm sorry, what's the 500? Okay. That's okay for with me.
Are you making the motion, Bailey?
Good.
Okay, Chuck, second. Bennett?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Chuck?
Yes.
In your packets, each of you have contracts for the next prosecutor. I gave you the current one, and you received a different one from a different location from the city of Maslin.
Could we possibly move an executive session?
Yeah, I just want you to know you have the contracts. A finance meeting, didn't go as planned, but we did have 2 additional council people set in. Councilman Bailey and Councilwoman Bennett sat in with Councilman Thomas, I believe. We went over different items for that meeting. One of which was, that I worked on, was increasing the sick time payout when an employee retires. I gave each of you a copy of the existing one, and I just sort of wrote on it and didn't change it because I didn't have time to dig in for it on a CD or wherever it's buried. I put down that they would like to increase it to 480, which would be 60 days of payout. At this point in time, I think our employees would be grateful for anything. 45 would be nice. You have 4 employees on your staff that will ever qualify for this. 4 out of the group, because all the other ones use their sick time as they get it. Sometimes they try to use it before they get it. And those 4 employees, 2 will be retiring in the next maybe 2 years, and the other ones will be further down the road. So it's not like it's something that's gonna happen overnight.
So all but about 4 of them all use up all their sick
Yes,
time all
sir.
the time.
They do all the time.
So the more we give them, the more they're gonna take.
No,
No, she's talking about the newer employees. The old-time employees save theirs in case something happens.
I
The
understand.
younger ones just go,
That's
oh,
right.
yeah.
the older employees banked all their hours and didn't get sick every week
They were
or
good.
every month they were here. When they retire, we give them 30 days payout. We give them 30 days now, that's part of their retirement. I'm asking to increase that from 30 days to either 45 or 60 days to give them additional money because they have not used it like the current ones. Your current employees use it immediately. They get that logged in the books and they're offset.
So if we pass this, we're doing it for people and we, because the rest of them use it all.
They
Right.
use it all the time. Unless you come up with an employee that banks their sick time, you're never gonna use it. Sure.
This one here is the old one,
That's the old one.
and it has on it that, there shall be no restrictions on the amount of sick leave an employee can accumulate. Is that what you're discussing?
Yes, it's the
Right.
accumulated sick time that the people that have been here 20 years have 1,000, 2,000 hours of sick time that they've never used. They just don't take off.
So you would count it as hours and not days,
It's hours,
hours.
yes.
So what would be the average
Average what?
amount of hours they accumulate?
Who knows? The new employees don't accumulate it.
Well, I understand that, but I mean the older. Because, some of the jobs that I was aware of, you, this person had like 200 and some days accumulated, and they only ended up with 30 days.
That's what this is
Well, that's
saying.
what
That's
we're
what we
talking
do now.
about.
Oh, okay.
It's not 30 days,
Well,
it's
240.
hours. It's hours.
So, you wanna increase it from 160 to 480? Is that what you're saying?
It's at 240 right
It
now,
said
right?
240 to 40.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it says
Could be a
30
double.
days or 240 hours.
Gotcha.
I have to load it by the hours in my computer.
Okay.
But that's something I want you to think about. I mean, we haven't done anything on this since 2007 for the people that have made it long enough to retire from here. Will the other ones retire from here? God only knows.
So you gotta make up an ordinance for that, right?
Yeah,
That'll be on the payroll ordinance.
well, no, it's on here. I'd have to pull this original ordinance and just change that section of it.
So how's the rest of you feel? You wanna go up the statutory time? That way that she can make up the paperwork for next time.
I do, I mean, I think they earned it. It's, we're punishing them for not taking off sick like the other
We
people
did.
do.
Well, can I make a motion to have Stephen write an ordinance?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to have Stephen write an ordinance to increase it.
To which figure, George? And one of the employees said something that you might like to hear. You can pay it when they leave or pay it before they leave. I mean, truthfully, they're gonna start, they'll be calling off sick the last year or two. Yeah, yeah.
And can this be added in there also? Of the holidays?
That's a different ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the next one. I have a motion by Schott, second.
Okay.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yeah,
and Schott.
Yes.
I don't think I wanna do the rest on the extra holidays if we already did this.
Why?
Cause that's the way I think. I
Well,
mean,
you didn't let them even go over it yet with me.
Okay.
My turn.
You go ahead.
The other item was the, I don't know where it's at. In giving all of the employees, and then all of them will be affected by an additional holiday during the year. Craig had brought up birthdays. The only holiday that the state and the feds take that we don't get is Veterans Day. And I put that, I believe, on the holiday ordinance for you.
How many holidays we got right now total there? 6? 7? I looked at
About
it.
10, I
Look at
think.
that ordinance. I gotta find my copy. I don't have it here.
There's 7.
I got 9.
So we're only talking about a holiday every month.
8, 9.
No, yeah, it's, actually, you're right, it's 9. Because in lieu of raises, back in, I think it's in 2000, you gave them, the day after Thanksgiving.
Right. And they got Christmas Eve, Christmas.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, 10's not out of line, there's places that want
There's also places that only get 4
that. Mm-hmm, yeah. You're right.
0.
or 0.
No,
I mean, 9 holidays is,
Yeah.
that's already pretty generous in my opinion. But I do think if we have a veteran that works here, he or she ought to get Veterans Day off.
you
paid.
can't do that.
You can't do that?
No.
It's the only people I think should get Veterans Day off paid. That's just my opinion.
I'll make a motion to have Stephen do an ordinance to include those two. The Veterans Day and birthday, because that's just one person off.
Oh, they're only asking for, they're only asking for one holiday, right?
Oh, birthday's on.
What do you mean it's only for one person?
No, sure.
Everybody isn't off on the same day for that, for birthday. Just one person's off.
Yes,
Yeah, at a
yes,
time.
yes.
Because some people just take their birthday off anyhow.
Thank you, mine's coming up.
We ain't giving you one.
Either Bailey.
Okay, there's a motion by Schott. Anybody else?
Motion. Does anyone have a Bible?
He's not.
No.
Motion to inquire?
No, thank you. Are we gonna let it die or what?
What's
I'll say.
Bluff.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
No,
Richards,
No.
Bailey,
No,
Schott.
Yes.
It died, okay, thank you. And, you got that? The next is the reading of the legislation. Stephen, can you tell them what change you made on
Oh,
the
yeah.
collection of the outstanding utility bills? There was just like one section you wanted to change, or,
Yeah, so on the delinquent utilities ordinance, there was, let me just pull it up real quick. So at the first meeting after this was discussed, the question was raised about sections 8 and sections 9, section 8 and section 9, regarding how will you treat a person who lives in a mobile home? That if you live in a mobile home, you may own the home and therefore be responsible for the utilities, but somebody else could own the lot. So those two sections are changed to include an entity other than the titled owner of the real property, or if applicable, the titled owner of the manufactured home or the electric water. So that should cover that contingency. And then an explicit statement under section 3E that partial payments on account balances does not preclude disconnection. So the person has to enter into a deferred payment plan with the village, and absent an approved partial payment plan with the village, then the utilities can be disconnected even if there's a partial payment. So they're not sending in $20 on a $500 balance and saying, well, I made a payment. And I think those were the only changes that I had made.
The other thing too, we talked today, we may not want to enact this until January 1st, and the reason why is if we do this, send a letter in, send a letter to the residents, then we're bumping into Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it's sort of, Debbie worked for collection agency, it's hard to collect stuff then. Plus also, this will give them time to come down here and make arrangements to pay. So, I mean, they'll still be here, we'll still send the letter out probably in October sometime. It'll give them time to come down, figure out what they want to do, and then January, boom, that's gonna be it. You know, if they haven't come down and talked to us about, you know, making extra money payments or something, I mean, that would be up to you guys. But I understand what they said, it's sort of, I didn't think of it, but, you know, myself, I can see where they're going, it's not a big rush. Plus also, it won't be such a jam-packed thing where we only give them 10 days to come down here and talk, because we have 80-some, I think, it is, something like that, people that are in arrears. And that'd be a lot of people to have down here in 10 days. So, but you guys, we can do it whenever you want to, but we don't have a date on it yet or anything. We can do second reading today, and then, you know, third reading will be in October, and then that'll go into effect in November, but we can always make it go into effect in January.
what does this council think about this?
yeah, I got no problem with it.
January. Go into effect January 1st.
Yeah, goes into effect January.
That's on section 11 is where the date
There'll
is.
be, yeah, well, I don't think we put a date in there.
There's not a date in there now, though.
Yeah.
Well, that would be 2021.
Right.
Yep, so we can just, if you guys agree with that, we'll just, me and Greg will get the, not Greg mostly, I get the major points on what I thought. And since
You have to
he's-
change the 2020, 2021.
Thank you. Since he's a lot smarter than I am, I'm gonna let him write the letter.
Doubtful, we may only get a second opinion on that.
Okay, so you want this to be the first or the second reading?
That would be, oh, yeah, that's right.
It
it's a
it
new
could be
one,
the,
isn't
it could be the
Yeah.
first reading with the changes.
Right, that
It'd
is,
be Ordinance to revise the rules and regulations governing electric, water, and sewer, account management, billing, and collections, and authorizing the cancellation of utility debt owed to the Village of Beach City, which originates prior to the year 2015.
So it's gonna be first reading.
First reading, but that way you've got it with just the changes, in case you have any questions. The next one would be ordinance 2011, an ordinance to increase the 2020 appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the fund accounts of the Village of Beach City, Ohio. It'll be your second reading. The increase is $45,665.20, which was the amount we received thus far for the CARES Act expenses. Ordinance number 20-12, an ordinance to authorize the mayor of the Village of Beach City, Ohio to execute a paid-up oil and gas lease with Ascent Resources Utica LLC. Will be your first reading. And this is where the fire department received through a will donation of money on a gas well in Harrison County, be the second well. The solicitor also did the final reading of this. It's ordinance 20-13. An ordinance to prohibit parking on the east side of Church Street from Redwood Street and continuing southbound therefrom, and to provide penalty therefore. Will be your first reading. This is what you asked him to make up at the last meeting. And then the last thing I have is a resolution they put on my desk, but I'll wait till it gets to the village administrator to go over that with you. That's it.
thank you, Jim. All right, we have visitors. Mr. Ballcler. Yes, sir.
Going back again to discuss the utilities, and I didn't know if anybody had a chance to take kind of what I brought up as far as the cost versus what we're being charged. And I do had a couple of rate comparisons, and I was able to meet with Greg, thank you. And thanks for what you're doing and what you've done so far. So I'm looking at Brewster, and Brewster's max for at least residential is 11.3 cents a kilowatt hour. Orville 10.03 and Dover 12.96. And I would say probably Dover might be a little far-fetched as far as how we can add that in. Seeing as how we used to qualify for a low-income grant, no longer do that anymore, but I don't think we're along the same lines as Dover's income level. And last time when I talked, we talked about Canton's could potentially raise their rates, and again, that'd be with 60-day notice. And even if they raise their rates from an additional 8% next year, we would go from 0.407 to 0.440 as a cost. So current, we run about 1.93 cents per gallon, so it's almost 5 times the amount. So that's something that hopefully we can look at and come down. I know part of the whole municipality providing utilities is something that should be fair and reasonable. And so far, I've lived outside of Beach City, I've just moved here, and so far what I've seen, it's definitely not fair nor reasonable. And I can't find an actual definition, and I don't know if it's something that solicitor might be able to come up with, but the state auditor, local county auditor, attorney general, I can't get an exact definition. So I know if I'm pulled over by the police and I think 65 down this road is fair and reasonable, it's definitely against that law, and there's a set limit for that, so. And it looks like Canton's water cycle, the billing cycle is pretty close to our billing cycle, so we should almost be able to look at, if we purchase 2.7 million gallons in August, and we only billed out 2 million, there's definitely a deficit somewhere, and hopefully it might lead to a leak or something else, so. I'm just hoping there would be some kind of outtake from this, and hopefully we can start moving, on a path forward and kind of get just a detailed, explanation that even how you come up with the price of the utilities, so that's all I have.
Do you have any suggestions on what to do? Because those the engineers, the ones we
The
had
consulting
before.
company, oh,
Yeah, the ones we had before, they're the ones that, we did this, we had to catch up because nobody ever raised the rates for
right.
ever.
And I think, I mean, even if we even take a look at, even Bolivar, Bolivar's using the same water we are. They're pulling from the same wellheads we are. They're just traveling a little bit further, and if I looked at it right, and even comparing, Bolivar, if I added, their water and sewer rate for my last month's bill, it would have been $79, and my sewer last month was just $78. So add that additional $101 on water.
Is that the old Bolivar rate before they increased their rates?
No,
Because
that's-
see, they're putting in meters now, so their costs are gonna start going up like ours do, covering the cost of the meters and,
And I can pull the metered rates to find out
I
what it
mean-
is, but I think it's
It's about
$5 per 1,000 gallons, so it's like
yeah,
0.5
It's flat
cents.
rate right now, it's like, cause I just got my water bill, it's like 130 every 3 months, I wanna say, for water and trash. Now sewer is Tuscarawas County Metropolitan Sewer District, which they're like two separate things, but theirs per month's about 48.
Is Bolivar getting their water off of Canton?
no.
Portion
I
of
didn't
it.
think so.
Portion of it.
Are you
Not
sure
that I
about
ever
that?
knew.
No.
They have a water plant. They have a water plant in Bolivar.
Thank you.
But they still gotta source their water from somewhere, and part of it's pulling from City of Canton.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I was surprised when you said that.
Because they're not on the list, they'd be paying the same amount from the city of Canton than what we're paying, and there's no way they can charge that to their customers.
Yeah, they should.
Well, like I said, well, even if they're getting it from the City of Canton at 0.407 cents with a sell of 1.93, that's a 500% markup. So I'm sure there's room to move somewhere. And most municipalities do have their own, I can't compare it to Navarre. Navarre has their own water system, Brewster has their own water system. So there's not many to really compare to, other than the city of Canton rates are stated right on their site, so. And there's nothing in our contract that says that's what that set rate is. It's just, it's 150% of what a Canton resident is. I get that, still 0.407. And like I said, if they raise it 8%, it goes to 0.440. So I'm thinking, 5, 6, 7, 8 cents. Something we gotta come up with, and obviously look at adding salaries, any other expenditures that are on the books for the water department to cover.
So I don't mean to interrupt. You're saying that part of Bolivar's comes from Canton?
I'm almost positive, yeah.
Okay.
If they did, I never knew about it, 'cause
Stephen, you would have learned that in your meetings with Canton, wouldn't you?
Somebody get
When you discussed the rates, how they charge at East Canton and.
Yeah, I thought we
It's
asked
in the
them,
contract that
We're
we're
the
not
only
allowed,
ones.
that we're not allowed, they have us in East
I
Canton,
think that's the only two.
and that whatever whatever we're charged, everybody else has to be charged that, and they.
Right.
out of
you
that.
sure ain't North Canton instead of East Canton?
No,
No,
that
it's-
was wrong.
No,
Was
it's not
that wrong?
North Canton.
That was
It's
wrong,
East
it's not North Canton, it's East Canton.
Yeah.
They got it in the paper wrong.
Well,
Oh,
the
yeah.
paper's not always right.
Paper does a lot of things wrong. They do.
And when we're looking at the electric, I think we got some room to move there with $2 million already on the starting budget for next fiscal year. I think we got some room to move. And I don't know, is there a set amount that's required to be in the electric fund?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what that amount would be?
I'd have to go back and look because on one of our contracts, we have to account for our expenses by doing a calculation, and if we don't meet the standards of AMP Ohio, then we have a problem.
Because Brewster's was 1.4 last year.
1.4 what?
million.
So,
Well, but 600,000, we have 600,000 more. They have twice the amount of residents, so I think there's still an additional amount in there that probably could still come down. And hopefully this will alleviate some of the past due collections. Because if the bills aren't as exorbitant as they are, and I take a look at it as, I got a truck that gets 10 miles a gallon, if Shaka decides to sell it for $8 a gallon, I'm still gonna go strawberry by that, so.
I'm still trying to break $150 on my bill.
and I have a question for you
I
also.
tried.
When you read the rate comparisons, can you go over those again for me? Did you have that?
Dover is currently at,
I think, 12.96.
yeah,
I got that one. Who was the 11 something?
Orville is 10.039,
Oh, that's Orville, okay.
who's also an AM. And I know Brewster,
Maybe Brewster was the 11. I
I
bet
got
you that.
something, I think he said.
Yeah, I bet you that's.
that's the,
Orville.
yeah, that's the 11.3. That's the top rate, because they charge in a tiered structure where they got 700, 500, 1,200. I'd hate to do that to somebody, but, you know, even if you could come up with the average of that and whatever the base average of those users are around here, I still don't know how I use 1,900 kilowatt hours with no air conditioning, but.
Well, if it's on your meter, you get charged. Do you have one of those, radon units in your house?
Yeah.
And it's running 24 hours? There's part of your problem.
It's gotta be low usage. I mean, I can pull the energy stats off the side and figure out the draw, but I know it's nowhere near that.
And my question for you also, and it's out of curiosity, when you quoted the cents per kilowatt, are you just quoting the kilowatt at the price of the electric, or are you calculating in there the cost to relay and bring it in,
For us, or
the other communities?
I'm just,
Because I
whatever
did
it is for there.
AEP, we had people jump off our line when we go to AEP, and we personally, the village have 2 accounts. They pay, we pay 14.87 for AEP, and they come right into town, the edge of town, that direction, and people jumped off because they didn't like us, well, they're paying
Right.
higher with AEP.
Right. And I know with Ohio Edison, I was ranging 10 to 13 cents per kilowatt hour, which, I mean, to me, that's a comfortable, without the excise tax, but.
Yeah, is that including the cost you pay for the delivery?
That was even taking my total bill and divided by the kilowatt hours used. That's the overall encumbered amount, is that.
Okay. Police. Go that way.
Chill.
There you go.
Okay.
That's you.
That was quick. I'm sorry, I didn't know if there's. Yes. Can I get an executive session to discuss personnel?
I would make a motion for the executive session at 7:34.
Second.
Bennett? Yes. Thomas?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Chuck? Pass it now.
Contract. That's the ordinance.
I don't have it written.
Not the ordinance, yeah,
The contract.
we're the contract,
Right.
we're gonna approve it,
Over the map.
we're going to choose that contract.
And then you'll have Stephen do an ordinance for you to sign the contract? I will do that.
I make a motion that we accept the contractor as, Madison Law Enforcement.
Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Shop.
Yes.
You have anything else, chief? Need any money or anything?
No money this time,
All right.
maybe next time. For now, we've installed some of the cameras at the park. I still got a couple more that I want to install, they're working great. Hopefully these will work better than the other ones.
Yes, they do.
And we'll see what we can get accomplished with them. It's trial and error at this point until we go with a professional camera company and spend the boo-hoo bucks. I'm gonna do whatever camera system I can find that might work for us.
Come up with something that we can use downtown maybe to help out.
You're talking thousands, like we can get camera systems, but you're talking thousands, but for right now.
Why don't you get a camera, Fran, and put it
Well,
on your place?
I'm hoping we can get it through that 45,000.
No,
Franny,
Sorry
right now,
about it, I didn't know.
right now, there's nothing going on downtown,
no,
okay?
good try.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Shut that down.
I was just,
Franny's window.
I'll move.
no, there's nothing going on. I was gonna ask you, can we have a patrolman on duty go down around the park at least once an hour on like the weekends? Just to drive the cruise, I don't know how often they cruise by or anything.
So generally, the officers are to check the park, at least once on their shift, and then they always drive by, plus they sit there on Third Avenue, they sit there a lot and really look over, but my officers do check the
If I
park.
scares them
They've been
away.
down there because I see them go down all the time.
Oh, no, I figured they have been, I just.
Yeah, they have. I've asked them for, I've multiple conversations with my officers to continually check the park.
I figured if they were driving around, they probably went by there.
A good thing with these cameras now,
Yeah,
anytime someone's at the park, I get notified, Greg gets notified.
that's good.
And if you've heard his phone going off for the last
That's why I turned it off.
10 minutes, it's going ding, ding, ding,
Oh.
that noise, that's
People
telling
at the
him
park?
someone's at the park.
Either that or motion.
And anybody, and I'll put this on video,
Well, but just on-
if anybody wants to,
Still.
sees anybody at the park and they're not, and they're doing something bad, call 330-756-2449. That one goes to special dispatch, it's not like 911, so you're not bothering anybody, it's what they expect, and then they'll contact the officer on duty.
Yeah, they have over 35 lines
Right,
at dispatch. For what we use, the 911 line is for like all of their different departments. And so tying up that one, kind of to get a little,
but the 911 one?
the 911 line, yeah, save that for emergencies, call the
Right.
24491. It's gonna go to our dispatchers, they will get us
Take care
there.
of it, yeah.
Just let them, even if you tell them, look, we need to speak to an officer, try to give as much detail. Their job is to give as much detail as possible.
I use it Saturday and it works good.
So that's where we're at there. But yeah, absolutely, anytime there's someone at the park, usually between 5 and right about now, my phone's tinging constantly with people at the park, but I can see, okay, there's people at the park, so.
Here's another thing too, I was gonna bring this up, we need some, I'm talking about closing the park at dusk instead of going from dusk to dawn, being closed, sorry, Dan. I think that would be a great idea, and then like, if they have like a Christmas thing, like a tree lighting or something, you know, you can always get special.
I'd say unless
whatever
approved
permission,
by,
that's a
unless
city
approved
thing.
by the mayor,
Exactly,
you know, or,
but,
you
any
know.
other, cause there's no reason for anybody to be in a park at night.
Well, what's the sign say now?
10.
10,
And it has it 10.
Oh, that's right.
That's gotta
We
be
talked
on an
about
ordinance
that.
somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
figured.
because
kids say that they don't leave until
Well,
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I would like to look at the,
Because I think the Lord City says dusk to dawn.
we'll look
The one
at the
down the
charges.
ballpark is closed at dusk, and that one there, nobody here.
Trespass warrant, say, hey, don't come back here, fines back here.
Yes, the cemetery's closed dusk to dawn too.
Yeah, I agree.
Be careful
That's the way
being a
it should
public
say.
area.
I wanted to bring up a point, I actually had a lady of a certain age, I'm trying to be politically correct, tell me that her and some of her friends, and she invited me, were going to start sitting in the pavilion at night. And when the kids showed up, they were gonna make it very uncomfortable for them.
Uncomfortable for the kids?
Yeah.
I don't think that would work. I think it'd go the
Well,
other way. I think
Well,
it'd make kids,
but if it's closed dusk to dawn,
Right.
that will solve that problem.
yeah.
So the nice thing with these new cameras is, and I don't monitor them 24/7, but they are recording 24/7. When there's motion, they start recording. But if at 2 o'clock in the morning, my phone starts going ting, 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 I know someone's at the park that shouldn't be. Because it's multiple, if you heard his phone, it's multiple times going off when there's people there, and we see who's there. I mean, and I can go in there and watch them live and see if they're doing anything they shouldn't be. I mean, I don't monitor 24/7, I don't want people to think that they're constantly monitored, but they are recording. And they do it in bursts, like a few second bursts, and it's multiple screens, but you can generally see exactly what's going on. They said it's not a professional camera system, but it's better than nothing.
And again, are they gonna be held accountable? I know I've asked this before, but it seems like we saw you on the thing, you can't do that anymore, see you later. You know, as opposed to you were in the park when it was legally closed.
So my thoughts is first time will be a warning, second time's charges.
Right.
And even for being out after curfew,
No, that would be, I'm sorry.
okay.
Curfew,
What, you know, like curfew, when people were out after curfew, and I know we get a lot of people out after curfew. Why can't they be taken to the police station and the parents called and the parents have to get out of bed, come pick their kids up at the police station, and they'll get tired of having to come get their kids every other day?
we generally take them home and wake the parents up, but talking about getting the parents actually down there.
Parents gotta get up, come down to the station, sign the paper to get their kids released.
My only, and I'll look at, my only concern is I hate holding juveniles for any amount of time at all without charges, just because they are juveniles. It gets touchy, but I see what your point is.
And that's why they get away with it.
They can be charged with the curfew, usually catch them once and we don't see anything.
And I'm not talking sending them to prison or anything.
No,
I
at least
just
a
think
curfew
taking them,
violation.
just taking them and having the parents have to interact with the situation.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, if I had to go get my kids from you,
I'm not gonna be happy.
well, actually mine, I would just leave them sit there, but.
No, I completely agree with you, and I have no problem looking to see if we can do something better with the curfew violations, stuff like that, but generally, when my guys see them out, they ID them, and watch them go home or follow them home, if we catch you again, you're getting charged, and with the vandalism at the park, we have had charges in the past, for people vandalizing stuff at the park, and it's went through on juveniles, so I have no problem charging for the vandalism. There's a lot of hard work that's went into that. A lot of people have spent many years getting that park the way it is, and it's not right for, I'm sorry, but I have a 3-year-old daughter, and and especially having kids now, if she goes up, would go up there and see some of that artwork that's been up there, I would be curious. I would be a very angry dad. Especially because she's all about, what's that? What's that? You know, I don't need them, and I wouldn't want anyone else's kid to see some of the stuff they've done up there, and I have no problem charging them for that, and hopefully these cameras will do the trick. Again, I wish we had the money to put professional cameras up there, but for now, I'm gonna do with the best what we can with what we have.
Well, and can we please keep the cameras working this time?
I wish they were the professional grade cameras, they're just,
You got 2 AR-15s, you can't have professional grade cameras.
don't come out of my budget for it. I'll park on that one, and I can't get our questions right now, so we can't get them yet, we're having a hard time finding them.
Can I say something? I think it's been actually, because I've had to go up and clean the past, but I think that since the cameras have been up there, I think honestly, it's been a little bit more relaxing, because every time I see kids up there, my butt's smelling it up there, and I'm like, get out, or it's a mess, or whatever, but I can say since they've been up there, I still go up and check, even though, and I can say that it's actually been staying clean, it hasn't been trashed or anything. my only thing is like the other part of the park, but it's been nice seeing little kids actually go in there and play, and the bigger kids actually haven't been really hanging underneath the pavilion anymore. So it's been nice watching kids and their parents and playing, and there's been no language, and it's been really, really nice, and the cameras, it's been amazing, so it's been a blessing, so. And they've done very well, so I'm proud of them, so.
Thank you, Carol.
And thank you for keeping an eye on things and being
Yes, I appreciate
a
this.
concerned citizen. Yeah.
I do appreciate the text messages, I really do, I know there's
I'm
sometimes.
sorry.
No,
I get mad, and I'm like,
she texts me all the time, and I don't always get right back to her, because
I
I'm off
know.
with kids,
I'm
but I
annoying.
appreciate the text messages, because if I see something that I can at least forward it to my officers,
yeah.
say, hey, check this, I might not always respond right away, but my officers are at least informed, and I need someone like you checking the park. And I called you today, I saw you up there.
I know you did.
So,
I was like, who in the world? I'm like, what is going on? I felt like I was nuts. I'm like, okay.
So if they, hopefully they work again, beat the dead horse, they are cheap civilian cameras, I need top line, good cameras up there. But for now, we'll do with what we have and hope they catch them. And the last set of cameras did. So we'll keep going. Other than that, that's all I have. We'll just keep on moving. And I'm gonna work on a packet for you guys for raises for the police department as well, and try to get something reasonable to accommodate both sides on it. And I apologize, I missed Wednesday's meeting, I was out of state.
And, do we have to get an ordinance to
Yeah.
change the sign at the park?
I think I need to go look, and I forgot, I've got to look it up.
When you guys do that ordinance, I would obviously be you doing it, I'll talk to you about a charging factor on there under village code.
Okay.
So changing the hours, we'll just make it possible. Okay, also, how many signs would we want to put up? Are you just gonna put up that? Do we just put,
Right now, there's one at the pavilion and one at the gazebo.
I'd put one there by the basketball courts too.
I would, I would be
Yeah.
on the other side of the park too, because they're both on the 93 side of the park.
If you get four, anywhere they come into the park, they should be close enough to a sign to read it.
Yeah, because those kids know where those signs are. They know what time it is.
well, they
and-
get warned though. If he tells them the first time, warns them, then they show up a second time.
But I mean, with the signs, they know, because they was like, it, and I'm like, no, go. But it was before time anyway, but.
That we talked about. All right, is that all, chief, or you got?
I've got.
I kick them out all the time.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Dale, fire
Right.
please.
The grader's a good idea, and that white thing's needs to start doing right there.
What's up, Victor?
No, I don't know if I made him a copy of the agenda or not, I left early today.
Oh, that's all right. First, please forgive Bill, he is at work. Bill Anderson is at work. We're here for you. Reported calls total this year so far, we're at 194 calls. Total calls for last year was 187. We've given Brewster mutual aid twice this month, September 9th and September 21st. We've received mutual aid from Brewster twice. We've received mutual aid from Wilmot once. And he's got a detailed report. As in the village of Beach City, we've had 3 EMS calls. Sugar Creek Township, Beach City, we've had 3. Sugar Creek Township for motor vehicle accidents, we've had 1. Mutual aid, Brewster FD for EMS calls was 2, so a total of 9 calls there. As in general information, the portable ponds were ordered, 4 to 6 weeks lead time. We do thank you guys for that. The steer tires are on Rescue 138. They have been replaced at $1,156.50. Quote for the drive tires on 138. $1,888.24. That's the drive tires on 138. That's the quote. Hal Rescue will be here tomorrow to service the jaws. let you guys all know. Also, Beach City is, we're gonna have another drive-through chicken barbecue Sunday, October 3rd, starting at 2 p.m. As in the drive tires, he's got on here that they, on 138, do not have to be approved tonight. He wants you guys to know the price. And then I've done a little research on the supplemental money we got. That took a few days. Everybody was looking at that money. We didn't know if it was a grant, if it was a supplemental, how it can be spun, you know, what kind of regulations were on it. You don't wanna, and granted, Bill's been in here. Yes, we need another life pack. A life pack 15 is $35,426.44. It's a large purchase, so if we can get it off of funding from federal government, by God, we were all for it. After several phone calls, we found out who was actually in charge of this money and who actually puts it out. He's the financial manager of Ohio Grant Partnerships. Is the guy that I finally had to read. It's the OBM of Ohio.gov is where he works. I was specifically asking for fire department stuff, the Life Pack 15 in specific. And I wanted to make sure that we're encumbering this money properly if we wish to spend it on this. Because the last thing this village needs is a $34,000 mistake. The only way we can purchase this is if it comes out of this kind of money, if it comes out of this federal money. And the exact answer I got is you would need to document how this purchase and any purchase made from this funds satisfy all three requirements of the funding. So this funding only has three requirements. Anything you spend it on has to satisfy these three requirements. Are they necessary expenditures due to the public health emergency? As in myself, I got the note here. Absolutely. You guys see the increase in calls, we're having an increase in ALS calls. Easy to write, because we can prove it. It is something done. Says, we're not accounted for in the budget most recently approved since March 27, 2020. Everybody's sitting in these seats. No, we never could afford $55,000, so that's an easy fix too. And then the last thing, were they incurred during this period between March 1st, 2020 and December 30th? Absolutely, in the increase in ACLS calls. This is the answer I got though. I can't sit here and tell you if you spend this money that they're not gonna refuse it. That's the criteria they gave me.
Even though it meets all three of the requirements?
All I can tell you, me and you can sit here and say, yep, that fills the requirements. Joe Blow down in Columbus reads this exact same number. Is he gonna come up with the same assumption? And he's the one that has to say yes or no.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just warning you of that. Do you see that as yes, that they're saying it's possible?
Yeah, did this gentleman you was talking to, did he say that he was about 99% sure that you
Yes,
did?
he actually liked how I approached it. He liked the answers I gave him, which I have wrote down here on how I covered that.
Council should know. I talked to emergency management. They told me the same thing, 99% sure.
Right.
He says, so what I think you should do is call the county auditor. So I
Yes.
called Mr. Harold.
Yeah, that one was
I
there
talked
for
to
you.
him, and he told me, he goes, 99% sure.
Yes.
Nobody's ever gonna say 100%.
No.
because they don't want you to come back on them.
Right.
And then he said he would look into it, and that's when I give him Bill's
Right.
phone number, then Bill
That's
talked
where
to
it
him.
came to me.
And then he probably told Bill
Yeah.
99%, and then
Yep.
you went farther, so that's about as good as we're gonna get.
OBM is who has control of approving this money. This is where this answer came from.
So we
from
have
their
to spend it
director.
first and then
This is
hope
where
it's
their
here.
approval.
It's here, the
No,
money's
it's
there.
here.
And we have
Oh,
another
that's
thirty-five
hers.
thousand,
That's hers, not mine.
we have another
Okay.
35,000 coming, well, they just passed it last week, the Senate, the Ohio Senate did. I don't know if it goes to the House or how, but it's coming that we're gonna get 35,000, that's what they're saying.
So they'll give
Second
us a
round,
yes or no
I'm sure.
before we actually shell this money out.
No.
They give you the money, we already have the money.
They already have the money in account. is
She
what
has the
she's
money in
saying.
account already.
That's what I'm
she's
saying.
saying,
So
we have to put
buy
all
the
this
thing.
down, and with that purchase, we have to document all this
Okay,
and give it to her with this purchase. So if they ever come back and say, okay, why did you spend this funding on this, especially auditors? She can pull out that file and her, this is the explanation we give.
okay, I understand.
I got one idea there. I don't know whether it would work. So we get the,
Can't cheat.
I'm not cheating. So we get the people that we buy the life pack off of to sign a piece of paper, that if it does not work, that they will take the life pack.
That is
No,
never going to
that
happen.
is
No.
not gonna
Well,
happen.
just
Why
an
would they
idea.
ever do you a favor like that? They're not
That's
gonna
not
do
gonna
that.
happen.
They're gonna sit there and say, either you want it or you don't, It'd be like me buying a car.
Do we buy
And under
stuff
this,
off-
and
Yeah.
Did we
under
buy
this,
stuff off of this company before?
oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, we buy it.
And under
from all
this
the time.
criteria, always remember, part of that price, that $35,000,
I did.
is that service contract agreement. What was that, $430? There's no way in the world you can take that out of this fund. The service contract itself, you have to pull that out of that $35,000 and we won't have to pay that as the service contract. When you purchase one of these units, the first year is free, just like anything else you buy. But we do sign a contract, just like we did last one, 5 years, we'll pay that $430 for that service contract. And every year we pay $430
I
after.
wouldn't buy it off of them unless they sign a piece of paper taking it back.
And that's not how the business works, number one. Number two, once we buy that, if you approve it,
Yes,
okay, I have to send down to Columbus, the Ohio Business Management Group that's overseeing this, the detail of all my purchases.
yes.
Even though I have the money and I spend it out now,
Right.
they have the right to tell me they're not going to cover it. Now,
Right.
the locations that were really wise and buy ambulances,
The ambulances didn't go.
the ambulances are too bad, so sad. These communities have to pay it back
Yes,
to the state and the feds between a 2 and a 5 year period
yes.
to buy an ambulance. But they took the money, they ordered the ambulances, now they're gonna have to pay for them.
The life packs that was purchased through this, as of this date,
Have not been refused.
have not been refused.
But it is a piece of equipment that we don't have one for each squad.
Yes,
And if we get 2 back-to-back calls, and we always, now we have to respond as if they're COVID patients,
yes.
which squad are you gonna give the good life pack to?
Choosing who lives and who dies.
Exactly.
It's not up to us. Yeah.
Because the life pack we had yeah,
It's past its days.
Yeah, it's past
It's
its
past
day.
its days.
So either you
It's a
try,
2005 unit.
either we get stuck with paying $35,000 because we need it, or we go ahead and go this way and let them pay it, and 99% sure that we'll have it paid for, and we only have a 1% chance that we would have to pay it back. So either one way you got 100% that you have to pay it, or you got a 1%.
Right. And that's what, all I'm trying to tell you guys, that I can't stand here and tell you,
Nobody.
Glory May, they got the check.
Even the guy that's running the place couldn't tell you.
Absolutely.
And basically, that's because
Oh, they
no
can't.
state person wants, like Debbie's asked them, and they won't give her 100% answer, they'll tell you most
Well,
of
and
the
the thing
time.
I'm finding, I found out through this whole process, this is complicated money that's confusing every village.
Yeah, they're all,
Because it is from the federal, so it's regulated to them, given to the state, so it's regulated by them, given to the county, so it's regulated by them, and then given to us. That's why it was such a pattern on this one to get this answer. Any other one, I know exactly where it comes from. I'm a guy that's not afraid to make a phone call, I don't care if it's down there at Washington DC itself.
So Steve, at 1%, if we go ahead and do this, and they don't like it, we'll turn around and sue them.
No.
I'm
Yeah,
coming
no,
up with some kind of
you're
solution.
gonna
You're
sue
not
what, the
gonna do
federal
that.
government?
He's a dreamer, Bailey.
Yeah, probably 2 to 5 years to pay the money back.
Yeah, that's exactly, the only risk, if you think you're gonna need it in 2 to 5 years anyways.
Yeah, we are, definitely, we
It's-
need it right now, actually.
It's
we
in the
really do.
plan, way this is setting, and everybody knows this because Bill's been up here.
Yeah,
We wrote a grant for it through the state this year. It was disapproved. We were gonna write a grant next year. If it approves, glory may, we were gonna dance down the street. If it was not, we were gonna have to bite the bullet and basically make a loan on this. That was the exact plan on this for the last 2 years. Because this started 2 years ago, and I'd written 2 grants on it, I was gonna write a third in hopes to get a grant. So one way or another, we're back at this next year.
What would you need from us tonight, Deb?
Vote to, me to spend the money out of this, the account for the CARES Act funding to buy it.
So that would be coming out of the 45,000.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
When Bailey comes back, I'll make a motion for
It's the same thing I brought up last meeting, from the same point he did about the 99% sure it'll pass.
That's all you can do, yes,
That's
absolutely.
1%.
even the grant writer told Bill that 99% sure, that seems to be their number, 99, nobody wants to go home.
And I have,
him.
I've
Better odds than you have him waking up in the morning.
That way you come up, yeah, right.
A life, a life pack so far has never been kicked out, is all I can tell you.
The second one's coming.
The squads, there's been
Okay.
Yeah.
14 of them kicked out. And some of these villages went
And then we should have.
almost $300,000 squad.
They haven't told me
And
yet.
they got kicked
Exactly,
out.
that's what they said in the email.
Oh, ouch.
Then we can buy all the.
So
little
as you
college
see,
stuff
I'm a little
like
more
that,
cautious.
stuff, it's like
I will
that.
stand here and put in a few hours and get as close as answer as I can get before
Did
I
they accept
ask.
anybody's squads? No,
No.
so every squad that came in front of them, they,
Yeah,
you think the word would've got around, you know what I'm saying?
what it is.
That was just stupidity
It's got a
and greed.
defibrillator.
A lot of them,
Heavy
was
on the
excited.
stupidity, I'd say, yeah.
a lot of them was
Everything to the
excitement.
doctor.
Debbie knows me well, we've been
Doctor
working
said
together
that
a lot.
they can
I
give
come
the
up here and look for the
paramedics
phone numbers.
permission, they
I
can
don't wanna make a
go-
$35,000
Yeah, they can read
mistake.
everything. Like
It
the
still
blood
happens
pressure,
on occasion.
all the vitals, all
You
that.
know, it still happens. We turn it in and it gets kicked out for something stupid that we missed. That's the only reason I'm warning you guys. I don't ever wanna come up here and say, yep, you got it 100%. Because it has happened to us. A couple years ago, it was a $3,000 mistake. But $3,000 we could do with 2 chicken dinners. And
Just start
it
selling some
boiled
chicken.
down to, at the state, the year before, they didn't send us the letter that we were dropped as a training center.
Mm.
And that's where that $3,000 is. It still said on my papers, we were a training center. So we ordered training equipment. Come back, no, you lost that last year.
Oh, that was when we got them dummies.
Exactly. I mean, and that's what
Yes,
happened.
yeah.
The year before, we were a training center. That year,
Mm.
I don't know who missed it. If it was me, I apologize. The paper wasn't one filled out to keep us current.
Well, I will make a motion to allow Deb to spend this money for the Life Pack 15.
Second.
Bennett,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Richards,
Yes.
Bailey,
No,
and Schott.
Yes. I said yes.
Like I said,
That's right, you're
it's you
looking-
guys' decision.
Okay, if you're looking at it this way, Dale said, 35,426, and I don't know if Dale, if that included the year out,
That's the first, that's the free coverage.
You've got $8,000 for the police for the new laptops you approved, and anything else hasn't been spent. So we're looking at right now, around 43,426 that you spent out of the 45 something that I have on the books. So that little bit of difference may cover our PPEs, our thermometers we had to buy. It'll cover Cindy's signs and her arrows that we're gonna get for the building. Anything else, I'll just take my estimates in for faucets and stuff and I'll hold them until I know if any more is coming through. If not, we'll go with maybe upgrade for this building because we do have the public coming in and out of here more than the other departments.
Your actual money coming out for the life pack that you can claim on this, 33,626.44.
That's even better, thank you.
And then the other $1,800 is the 5-year plan, but the first year's free, so that will be next budget year.
Okay.
That will come up, that will need
So I'm at
money for the 5-year plan.
33,626, that's even better.
I try to give you right numbers.
I'll take it.
Good job, Dale.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dale. Ms. Long,
All right, the first thing that all of you were given at the top today has the resolution authorizing Village of Beach City. This is from Quicksall, this is from our engineering firm. All of you should have that in front of you. That's just authorizing them, and I don't know, Deb, do you have to rewrite that in the way you want it to look? It's not a rush to get it.
No, this is fine, I had to sign in a number, I have to have a number, and then I have to print it on other paper to have to
Okay.
sign it, so it goes in a book.
Okay. Basically what that is, that's an agreement with Quicksall, our engineering firm, to start opening up, looking into if we can receive the Ohio Public Works Commission grant in order to look at possibly installing new water lines.
Yep.
Could I,
Sure.
would that go through council?
That would probably not go through them because it's OPWC, it's Public Works, so it would probably not go through them. I'm not positive, I can find out the answer for you though.
The contract was done with county.
Which
And,
contract?
For the grants.
Okay.
It did have a clause in there that we would not be allowed to apply for certain grants.
This one we can't, it's Public Works.
Okay.
Just trying to secure funding to get away from what we currently have with Canton, which we've kind of hinted at, talked about here, trying to go with another local municipality. So that's what they're looking into. They're trying to look to see if we can get money to offset that for our total cost of the project. That's the only thing that piece of paper's doing, this one, so. That being said, I'll talk a little more about Quicksall's. For our Main Street paving project that we got through Stark County Municipal Road Fund for 2020, we are going to be going with the bidding process on that. October 12th and 26th, we'll be running an ad in the Canton Repository, and we'll be posting it here on Tuesday, November 10th at 10 a.m. So by the November 16th meeting for council, we'll know who's going to be the winning bidder and who's going to be doing our Main Street project from the bank all the way down to Fifth. That'll be announced on November 16th. It'll probably commence, I would say, spring of 2021. So that's coming up, the bidding process for that. Backhoe has been ordered. There is a little bit of a lead time on it until it gets the attachments that were included with it. When it does arrive, I'm gonna have anybody that wants to operate it and who is going to operate it, they're gonna have a gentleman here. It's different controls, so there's gonna be a little bit of time to work with it, hopefully before the weather gets too cruddy out. We also have to look at, we're replacing a hydrant on 3rd and Water. It was struck in an accident here, I think 3 years ago, and it was just taken out and we turned it off at the curb. That's gonna have to wait though. We actually have a water leak over on Redwood and 4th Southwest, which we'll be replacing on Thursday. It's already been done right now to where we have a clamp on it, but we have to dig in the roadway a little bit to dig to the main and shut it off. So we gotta dig down to the corp and go about 6 feet over with copper line and replace that. But we will be replacing the first hydrant on Third and Water. It was on our list from Leak Seekers, our leak detection company this year that came in. It was one of the ones we wanted to replace because it just wasn't there. It was just a pipe there that we had turned off. We also have our biannual generator maintenance going on this week. That should be done. And other than that, I do not have anything else unless people have questions for me.
The trees down at the sewer plant that Artie Agnes brought up to me is dying. Is that inside the plant or is it outside the plant? Whatever the trees are.
I have no idea where you're talking about.
I don't either, I haven't been down.
I'll go down and look. I don't know.
He said them trees were expensive, whatever they are, and he said they're all dying.
I don't know where they're at. If
I don't
if
either.
they're down there inside or outside, I'll have to go look, so. Just at the sewer plant, that's all.
That's what he said to
Are
me.
you
they're
talking
probably-
about the ones along the fence?
I can't tell you,
He
John.
doesn't know.
Okay, well then that doesn't
Well,
help.
who asked you about him?
Artie Agnes. It's up here.
Ask him which ones he means, if they can't
All
figure
he
out which
said was
ones.
a
they are.
sewer plant, that's all he said to me.
Those like the
There's
ones in the
like tree like
cemetery.
bushes that they put up along the fence.
Are they along the fence?
Yeah,
Oh,
can't find it, they're tall.
When was it?
What are they called, do you know? He gave me a name.
Are they ash trees?
No, they're
No,
more
they're a
pine.
pine, I think they're an arborvitae or something,
Arborvitae with tall stems?
I think.
Yeah.
I'll go look.
Okay.
maybe they got bugs or something.
Probably.
That's what happened to that one they planted up there for the Christmas tree at the park, it ended up,
Getting
only
bugs.
made it, what, 2 years, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was supposed to
Well, I need to
grow
ask
and grow
Greg.
and grow, like the Grinch's pipe.
Mm-hmm, well, it didn't.
Looked like the tree from Charlie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Craig, I need to ask
Yes.
you, on this resolution that you have
Yep.
for Pixel, is that something they need us to pass tonight?
They do not, but if we could, it would just expedite their process. I think the deadline for that is November, I'm sorry, no, the deadline for that's coming up. It would be best if we could tonight. I mean, it's, the only thing that is doing is just authorizing them to act on our behalf to go look for OPWC money and to start the process to see if we can qualify for it. It's not hurting anything, it's not costing us any money, it's just them looking forward to see if we do qualify.
So be the first reading of Resolution 20-05, a resolution authorizing the Village of Beach City to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs and to execute contracts as required.
Make that emergency, we can pass it tonight.
Can we do it with just 5 votes?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Shutt?
Yes.
Motion to pass?
Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Richards?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Shutt?
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Has the siren been fixed?
Yeah, it was fixed that night, because I text Bill, and we were out here talking and it went off.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he switched it to
same
9
night.
o'clock.
Okay.
Yep.
I have some questions. Don't look serious, it's not bad. I went to the cemetery on Sunday to look at my, or to visit my parents. Looks awful down
Okay.
there. Whoever's mowing it is skinning the grass off, there's lots of bare spots where it's skinned off. Somebody whipped off some of the stuff I had planted. It was like weed eated away. I saw that on several graves. But it just, I would be right now, I would be ashamed to take one of my family members to the cemetery to visit my parents' graves because of how nasty it was. I think they got their graves set too low or something, which would help. I've never seen a book like that, and I just wanted to bring that up. So, okay.
Is that all great?
That's all.
All right. Mr. Stephen, you're up. Sure.
So the only thing I wanted to clarify, if you saw on the, maybe I should have brought it up when the ordinance was being read, but the parking one, I don't know if it was discussed at the meeting when I was requested to draft it, but the logical question that came to me as I was drafting it is, or else what? Like,
Fine.
yeah, so what are you going to do if they violate it? And the two options would either be a criminal charge, like Chief Guy had mentioned previously in another matter, or the civil, just like a fine. So without knowing for sure what council would like, I just made it a fine with a warning and then monetary. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear, that I just kind of unilaterally thought that would be appropriate. So, and then aside from that, I don't have anything.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have a problem. They have no parking on Second too and all that, so.
Well, you can't park on the one side of Main Street.
Right.
You can't park at all on 212.
So it shouldn't be a problem. The one thing I did want to tell you, the CDBG, okay. I contacted them, Mr. Dye will never get back to me, but this Ms. Lynn Corleone.
Lynn Carlone.
Cologne, okay, I don't know how town it was. She emailed me back. She said that all that decisions on who gets the funding and who doesn't goes through the HUD. HUD goes through census, and then it comes back to them. The county has nothing to do with it. I explained in the email, and they said, they wrote back to me, and she said, I don't really know what you're trying to say, but what I was trying to say was, Beach City, we have a household income lower than Wilmot and Brewster. We have a poverty rate that's almost 13.5%. Brewster has a 12.7, Wilmot has 8.5. So my question was, if our household income is lower than the other two and poverty's up higher, why aren't we getting it? And she said that, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call her in the next couple of days, because the other gentleman I did call, he never got back to me, he's probably busy. But I will call her and I will try to get more information on how all this works with HUD. But she did say one good thing. Next spring, she said that they will get a new map. So maybe we'll jump back on there, and that would be nice, and we'll see. But it goes through HUD and somebody else, so I'm not really sure how HUD works it. I may end up having to call HUD, so if I do, I'll call them and try to find out.
Get Bill Run or a call?
Yep, I can call Bill and find out. He's running for office again.
Again.
I got his
yeah.
thing today.
Mhm.
I got his thing today, so.
Well, I got a thing saying, can I put my sign in your yard again?
There you go. Yeah. But I just wanted to let you get updated on that. I think that's all I really got. And we got trick or treat.
Mayor, did you grant a soliciting permit for a?
Yes, I did today,
Okay.
for Direct Energy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
they're,
they stopped at my daughter's
okay.
and she asked them and they said, well, we had talked to the mayor and I just want to make sure they weren't BS.
I got 2 calls on that as well.
Did you?
Okay, yeah, and I got one too at home before I left, so.
Well, because I don't think you granted any.
I didn't grant any in my 40s.
Yeah,
I didn't want
really?
people talking to the citizens. It's just, I don't know, I was always leery that, because we got a lot of older people and
I got cash money too, and I was gonna stick it in my pocket. I asked, Debbie was right there at the door going, cough it up, Mayor.
But I always went to the Better Business Bureau and checked their thing and
Yeah,
most of the ones that applied, no.
yeah, they was, Direct Energy, I have their license, all their licenses, and from everybody, I have the license plate, give me numbers and all
good.
that, so. Yeah, I made sure
Did
they
I
were
give
clean.
the council a copy of a payroll ordinance?
I don't think we got one yet. Well, I didn't get one.
I didn't see one.
I think you only had that for the committee one.
No, I worked on one, a spread ordinance for
No,
you.
I didn't see it, not on this one. Or are you talking about at the committee meeting?
Nope, no, an actual ordinance. Well, there's my copy, where's yours at?
While she's looking that up, I've got the ordinance for the parking. On the parking ordinances, in the Ohio Basic Code under parking code, provisions, no person shall stand or park a vehicle except when necessary to avoid conflict with other traffic or to comply with provisions of this title or while obeying the direction of a police officer or traffic control device in any of the following places. So you got 76.04 section A, 14 at any place where signs prohibit stopping. So that should,
Why don't I build that into the ordinance?
okay.
Just cross-reference to OBC.
If they violate it, the first one is, sorry, I just lost it.
My caption is down.
Yes, please.
Is guilty of this section of a guilty of a minor misdemeanor if in 1 year the offense the offender previously has been convicted of pleading guilty to one motor vehicle or traffic offense, whoever violates the section is guilty of misdemeanor before. That's pretty much the same thing as dog at large. You just want to verify.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then A 14, I believe that section will fit.
Would council want criminal penalties for the parking?
I think that's a bit much.
Yeah, I don't think
My
we're
opinion.
gonna, I really don't think we're gonna have a problem. I think-
Okay.
Looks like it tastes someone.
I'll still reference it.
okay, I just passed out an ordinance, and this is just a make-believe ordinance because we didn't have participation at the last meeting, or the committee meeting, is I took, if you look at like a person that's hourly, go down to like, the first one would be the tax administrator, okay, where it says 2020, that's what she's at the current rate in the ordinance from 2018, thank you. And then I just upped it 50 cents each year. Those are all changeable, but I put something in there so you could see how it would flow. That if we needed to show this to anybody, they could see they start out at this, the next year they're gonna make that, then the next year they're gonna make that. Then by 2021, 2022, you need to start another one. I mean, I'm not gonna be here, I'm trying to make this as simplified for anybody to follow.
Well, that's pretty easy to read, I mean, it's right there in black and white.
And it's funny, because some of the stuff it hasn't changed, I haven't really worked on the police much, I didn't do anything for the clerk, I forgot about one.
No, that's not important.
No, not important. And the electric is going to cause you a problem because your lineman trainee is, he's stagnant right now. He hasn't gone into year 3, so he's stuck at $18 an hour until you get him back into class.
Yeah, me and Greg discussed that.
This does increase the lead lineman, the $2 he brought up, he asked for, because in the past, they gave it to him, they agreed to give it to him. It was not in an ordinance, wasn't in writing. It never got carried forward on the last ordinance, so that did increase under the 2020 figure. Everybody else is still the same, except for, like I said, the police, especially the police down at the bottom, where is it at? The patrolman, it's currently $10 to $12 per hour. Well, we have at least 2 gentlemen that are stagnant at $10 an hour. They haven't moved or changed anyhow. So that's something that between the chief, you have to work on, but I made this up that you could write all over it and change it. I don't know why it printed the way it did. I did something on the computer when I was in there trying to change something Steven gave me, and it changed my printer, so I have to fix it. It's full page, it's not full page.
It was formatting,
Send her virus.
I did not send a virus.
No, his was fine, but once I tried to change his,
I got it.
I changed my own stuff, and I have to go in and fix it.
All right, Chief, when do you think you'd be ready for another finance meeting? I know you've gone, and then, because you want to bring something up about the police.
Whenever, whenever you guys are available, I've got a couple ideas, that I've just been really, I would like to meet with Debbie prior to it, just to see what's too much, what's not too much. I've done research a couple years ago on what other area departments, actually, I think I sent out an email to every department in Ohio asking them what their officers make. If you Google what Ohio police officers make, you're gonna see it's double or 3 times what we're paying, which is, for a village our size, I don't think that's accurate. So I need to really look and see with my research what is fair to the village, what is fair to the officers to get us good qualified candidates, knowing the size of the village, knowing the capacities, knowing what we can do. It's a big jumble. I'll take any suggestions. I'd love to meet with you guys outside of here. Something 100% needs to be done. My first opinion, my first thoughts, and this is just initial without checking it, would be give them each a dollar raise, 25 cents a year after that, and then raise the uniform allowance, which is kind of in between, kind of a middle thing. If we double the uniform allowance, that puts them to $500 a year. And I only give them $1 an hour raise. That's not putting them at where I'd like to be, but in a way it is.
But are you still keep, I know, part of this every time. You have a very low tax base.
Yes.
You do not have taxes coming in, there are no businesses. So regardless of what other villages and towns are paying their police,
Correct.
we can't, you have to base it on a percentage of what they're bringing in taxes, and this is what they pay their people
Yes.
compared, and if you took our percentage of where we come in taxes, you'd probably be paying yours less, based on that.
So how much are we paying right now, and what's Wilmot? Wilmot's at 20,000, right? And how, and we're
See,
paying
that's
80,000.
that's the other thing I've gotta look into is with the Vermont contract, and I've got the numbers with what it costs us an hour per officer. And I've gotta get with Debbie to make sure that we are within there, and we may have to look at raising that contract. I don't want to, I don't think.
Well, every good contract should be addressed
It
and raised
should.
every couple of years.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
auditors tell me 4% every year, our costs are going up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if we're going to raise the officers to make it, like you said, a rate to get them in, to keep them to stay, and it's hurting our budget, we just have to cut back on hours. I mean, that's your choice, cut back on hours, give them the money. That's just how it will operate for us.
And we gotta find a happy medium. That's what I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna work with Debbie on it, because I don't wanna come to you guys with something and Debbie looks at me and says, yeah, you just lost all your hours, but your boss is getting paid good. So that's where, there's a happy medium. We need to get somewhere. We are very low, but I think we can get somewhere to where both sides are happy, and that's what we all need to work on. So I'd love
And you
to.
know, I would like to pay you guys
Oh, absolutely. I can't.
big salaries, but
I can't ask for $50 an hour here. That's crazy. I need to
Well,
get
you
something
can
that's
ask.
reasonable. I'll ask all day long, but I want something reasonable that's fair to the village. My ultimate goal here, I don't do it for the money. Nobody does it for the money. It's for the village, something we enjoy doing. I wanna make sure that it's something to at least compensate the guys for their time and what they do, and still be able to provide the best service for the village, because the thought of me losing hours on what I've already got kills me, but the thought of also not getting qualified officers and my officers not getting paid for the dangerous job that they do bothers me too. The fact that there's some people in this town making more than my officers that are not necessarily less important, but that's kind of It's a touchy subject and it needs
But that's
addressed.
fund accounting, that's the government that does it, that's not us. You
Oh,
gotta
absolutely.
remember that.
I know. So that's where me and Debbie are gonna have our talk, and I'll get with you guys and see what's reasonable, and we'll see what we can do.
And let's all try to be at the meeting, because I came up with a solution. You don't wanna come to the meeting, the 6 people, don't get paid for it anymore.
Well, when is that finance meeting? Did we set?
No,
We didn't set one.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know, but years ago, when we had people missing and they were sick and they were missing, oh, I'm sick, the way to get around it was we would vote to pay them, and it just didn't change. Mr. McKinney never called in tonight. It's unacceptable.
Oh, we never did the thing to you.
He never called.
No, he never
in.
called, that is unacceptable.
He never
When we
called
don't wanna give our
committee
employees a
meetings.
raise, but we're willing to pay someone who doesn't show, is just wrong. It is wrong. And I know you don't make anything, I get it, but you're not here for the money
Right.
either, you're not.
Are you guys free Thursday night this week? Is that too soon to have a finance meeting?
What time is that? It's inventory
Yeah,
week,
committee
I'm working
meetings,
6 to
so-
6.
Probably is for me this week and next week, cause I'm clearing up the mess, and then I gotta close my books, balance my bank, and then I start a new month. I
It's
mean,
something that has to be done right away either, I mean, it's something that, as long as, how quick are you guys wanting to get these new ordinances in place?
Just before next year.
Okay, so let's look at next council meeting, maybe we can schedule something for after that, that'd be the first part of October. That gives me time to get some more solid numbers and talk to Debbie and come to you guys with something that she's not
Yeah, we
gonna.
can sort of maybe look at October 12th or so.
And if we have to change committee members,
We will, I
you
mean,
know,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fine. Yeah. We
because
can do
when this doesn't happen, we just become stagnant.
So I'm hoping to come up with some, me and Debbie will work on it, we'll talk and I'll buy her some chocolate or something.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
Oh, Good
Well, at least
try,
they told the truth anyway.
good try, but it won't work.
So that's, we'll see, and I'll talk with each one of you guys after I talk with her and try to come up with something that'll work.
See how his face turned red?
Well, he was looking at me and I'm thinking margaritas, margaritas, margaritas.
and I was flowers.
Anything else?
Debbie,
Yeah? Just here.
I called Dave Franks, he's the water and sewer superintendent of Bolivar. I thought I knew this, but I wanted to make sure. They have wells, and they passed an ordinance a month or so ago, and they're going to buy bulk water from the Tuscarawas County Water and Sewer Department, which supplies their sewer. And they are installing 103 water meters, and just a couple will be inside businesses. The rest are gonna be in pits outside the residences.
Oh, okay.
They're putting pits in.
Boy, that's a bad thing to do.
Well, you
That's a
go
lot of
tell
work,
them
I'll
that,
tell you
they
that.
don't tell me, I just cover the.
No, I don't care.
I just cover the village.
How many kids do we actually have? Greg, do you, 50?
They'll read them electronically then.
Oh.
43, I think.
Well, I guess if you could read them electronically, it wouldn't be bad.
And I asked Dave when they increased the water rates, cause I knew they did, the last quarter, they pay quarterly over there.
But they're
I
gonna
pay
switch to
monthly. Pardon?
aren't they gonna change and start charging per gallon usage like we do?
Yeah, that's how it's set up now.
That's how I think it's supposed to, in talking to.
Cause they weren't coming up to par on their.
No, they were taking a loss.
Mhm. Yeah, they weren't, EPA said get your back engine gear and get this raised.
And see, what I don't think our residents realize is that EPA mandates that we do certain things. And if it costs us money, we still have to do it. So we have to consider all the chemicals and all the changes they demand that we do, has to come from somewhere.
And it always is passed on to the residents.
Yeah.
Well, chemicals keep going up every year, they don't stop.
Do you have anything else? All right.